Hi, this is Howie from Prime Your Pump, entertaining and actionable self-improvement. And today's lesson is about a technique developed by Edward de Bono, one of the most famous thinkers about creative thought. And the technique is called consider all factors. And consider all factors, okay, is a three-step technique that helps you consider all of the things that might affect a decision you make that are around you. So it's very, very, very helpful to stop you from getting blindsided from something you didn't consider. So the first step is to list out all of the different potential factors that could affect you. Here's a partial list of some things we come up with. For example, geography, which could mean anywhere from location to environment. Do you want it in the tropics? Do you want it up north? People, understanding what everybody needs and wants. Some people can walk well, some people can't walk so well. Some people want to dance. Risks, okay, including legal risks, health risks, financial risks, etc., that may affect your decision that you're making. Any constraints, things that you're not allowed to do. Like, for example, you can't blow off fireworks, okay, in the middle of Iowa because there's cornfields all over. Resources, what do you have available to help you do what you need to be done? Okay? And also you should think about the future. If you do what you do, what's going to happen to you in the future? So these are all potential factors. When we say consider all factors, CAF or CAF, these are some of the kinds of things that we're talking about. So the second step is, after you've listed them all, consider each factor individually, okay, independently, and together in different combinations on the decision you're actually making, for which you're considering all the factors. And then the third step, of course, is to actually do it and make the decision. So let's take a look at an example. Okay, so suppose you ask somebody out on a date, okay? So the first step in CAF, CAF, consider all factors, is geographical desirability. How far do you have to drive to pick him or her or it up? And when I say it, that's up to you, okay, whatever that means. All right. People, okay, getting a feel for their interest. What do they want to see? Do they match your interest? If they don't match your interest, it's probably not going to work out. All right. Risks. Is your date like a serial murderer? You just met him or her in a bar. All right. Or maybe they have an STD if you're looking just to hook up. But these are risks. These are things you want to consider. Don't forget to bring a prophylactic with you. All right. Constraints. How much money do you have available? Just as an example. Or what resources do you have? Well, resources, of course, are money, but if you're going to go on a Tinder date or a Grindr date or whatever they call it nowadays, all right, make sure you go with contraceptives, sex toys, Viagra if you need it, all right? From my age, there may be a greater need for the Viagra, okay, than for the sex toys, but nonetheless, okay, you'll figure out your own resources and constraints. So now that we've listed out all of these factors, you have to consider, as I said earlier, all these factors independently and then together. So, does your date live around the corner? Yes, he or she does. Great, okay? Okay, what does your potential date want? Well, they would like to go to the movies, and since it's the third date afterwards, maybe they would like to have some carnal relations, all right? So you share, okay, you share that in common. Great, okay? You want to consider all of the risk factors. So for example, once again, our friend Rick was dating an ex-stripper, all right, okay, and she liked him because of those great abs that he has, all right, and he had to be very careful about, did she have an STD, because he wants to remain the all-Canadian boy that he is, okay, and as for constraints, okay, maybe your date has to be a liberal Democrat. You may remember that Larry David episode where he was about to have sex, okay, with someone because his wife agreed that on their 10th anniversary, if he wanted to have sex with someone, he could. And he was about to have sex with the woman, and he saw a picture of George W. Bush, okay, on the mantle, and then he couldn't do it anymore. So for him, okay, that was a constraint. Had to be a liberal Democrat, okay? So, and look at the resources you have in place. Do you have enough money? Do you have a place to go? All this stuff if you get lucky. So here we've, of course, gone the sexual route, but, you know, we're being entertaining and actionable. So now that you've considered all these factors, okay, let's talk about using it or losing it, okay, to make it actionable. And remember, there are 3 steps, okay, to CAF. First is to list out all the potential factors that can screw up your decision. The second thing is to consider each one of these factors independently and to see if they interact to somehow screw up your decision. And the third thing is to make the appropriate decision from what you've learned in the first 2 steps. So when we come to when to use it, well, whenever you're confronted with an important decision, you want to use CAF. Okay, that's when you use it. Okay, and the more you practice using it, the better you will get at making low-risk, high-value decisions. And so what do you think? Can you think of an example where you could have used CAF to help you make a better decision? You know, and comment on it and let us know. And until next week, remember, okay, to look at our other blog posts and to like them if you like them. And remember to sign up for our weekly newsletter. And until next week, remember, prime your pump.